Hi everyone.
Hi. We are now live. Welcome to a day of a life of a work from home cloud developer. Thank you so much for coming here today. We are your hosts, Ange and Allison, and we are both members of Python Philippines Board of Trustees.
So, a day in the life of a work from home cloud developer is a webinar talk show which is a collaboration between PythonPH and AWSUGPH. So, it's kind of like a spin-off of a day in the life of a work from home Pythonista, but instead of just interviewing Pythonistas, we're interviewing people who use both Python and AWS.
So the goal of this webinar is to give people in the community an insight of what a typical workday looks like for these professionals. Hopefully, this will also serve as an inspiration and give a sense of community, especially for most who are working from home.
So this is a very special and exciting episode because we're interviewing not just one, but two cloud developers.
So we are going to show to you our show format. So number one, we are going to have a virtual tour of the speaker's work area at home and the tools that they use. So this will go around 5 minutes, and also a talk show with Q&A with the host and audience from YouTube and also from Zoom.
Okay, so before we start, let me call on Ryan, Python Philippines Director of Public Training, to remind everyone about our code of conduct.
All right. Hello, everyone. So, good afternoon. And for our code of conduct, we value the participation of each member of the community, and we want all members to have an enjoyable and fulfilling experience. Accordingly, all members are expected to show respect and courtesy to other members at all Python and AWS UPGH events. If a participant engage in harassing behavior, the webinar organizer may take any action they deem appropriate, including warning the offender or expulsion from the event. If you believe that someone is violating the code of conduct or have any other concerns, please contact a member of Python PH Code of Conduct Work Group immediately. They can be reached by emailing board@python.ph. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
So thanks. So our guest speaker for today is Trisha Kay Manuel.
Trisha is currently a DevOps Engineer at Dyson. She graduated from Mapua University with a degree in ECE. She's had a passion for coding in Python since she started her career as a Backend Engineer at Complete Business Online. It's where she learned how to build web APIs, automate scripts, and got exposed to AWS. She's also a proud mother of one. So let us all welcome Trisha. Hi, Trish.
Hi, hello, Trisha.
Hello. Hello.
All right. So how are you, Trish?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
All right. So we'd love to see your work from home setup and your tools.
Um, uh, Let me share my screen. So hello. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So hello again. My name is Trisha Kay Manuel. So I'm here to present my a day in a life in a work from home Pythonista. So sorry. About me, my name is Trisha Kay Manuel, nickname Trish. I graduate from Mapua University as a BS Electronics and Communications Engineering, and I currently work on Dyson Electronics as a DevOps Engineer. So before I talk about my career, so let me just give a throwback on how I started my journey from being currently a DevOps engineer. So My journey summary, I graduated back in 2015 in Mapua. So I also had my first job there back in 2015. But as you all know, as a fresh graduate, there could be some influence from peers and friends that which make actually have a great impact on your choice of work. So back at that time, I didn't have actually have any idea on what should I pursue, on what field should I some uh, quite typical quarter life crisis back in the day. So, but uh, also at the same year, I was luckily that I had an opportunity at this certain company. I was actually employed as a associate software engineer at that time. But um, along the way, I kind of had some reflections because I started to thinking where would my career be if I stayed here for some time, and if I just waited for my um like leads to dictate what skill should I be. So it's really quite a confusing time back then. So um I actually stayed there for a year, but and then I resigned without actually having a job as like another job backup or having pending job application. So technically wala talaga. So what I did I before I took anything I actually did some reflection for some, actually several months, but not actually a year. Um, about 7 months actually of reflection by that time on, syempre, career-wise, yung direction ng industry, you have to take those things into the variable para ma-consider mo yung path din na gusto mo sa life mo, and syempre ayaw mo rin naman mag-pursue ng something na ikaw ba-burden mo at in the future, 'di ba? So actually I started to take some class in short course by that time. Actually nakita lang siya ng friend ko, and then he said na why not try this. So I actually enrolled with him, and this was actually in UP Diliman. They offered a short course training in Python with the Django web framework for about 5 weeks. So it actually started there, and then I actually enjoyed it, no. So and then after that, I actually was offered a job in a startup company where I actually met most of my friends currently here as a co-host, you know. So actually dun ako nabigyan ng opportunity. It was actually a great opportunity and a very great um, training background na naging backbone ko up until now. So hooray, thank you. Especially for the I won't I don't want to name drop, but for the CTO that time, I was actually very grateful for him giving me a chance, no. So I never knew what capabilities could I have, and up until now of the day, that is actually very useful in my career, no. So I was actually very grateful for that. And then as a journey comes by, so ayun nga. So I'm now currently as a DevOps engineer in Dyson. So I was able to learn about web development, API design and infrastructure, AWS, and cloud. So, ayun. So, after the journey, sorry, medyo mahaba. So, let me share my daily life. So, let's see. This is actually my work. It's like typical day for me. So, as you can see, every Monday to Friday, actually, I actually like have an alarm clock because usually at around 6 to 6:30, my child actually cries for it's like asking to be fed. So I actually do feed the child at every day at 6 in the morning, and then after which maybe have some rest after changing the nappies. I have to prep for work because I actually start working at 9 a.m. So that's typically 9 until 12 noon, and then have some lunch. So actually the lunch was it's kind of not the typical lunch that I was used to, because I had to like prepare also the food for the baby, because he actually eats separate foods from separate from the adults. So ayun. So after the lunchtime, continue to work up until 6 p.m. And then after which sometimes minsan nag-early dinner, ganyan. And then after ng free time, so ayun, may mga I have to like play with the child and do some random stuff like Netflix, ganyan, or play games. Actually do play games kasi. So this is my workstation. So syempre, coffee should not be missed every morning. Not have to have earphones and quiet environment. I am actually lucky that my family is very supportive for giving me me and my husband actually for work quiet work environment where we could be actually productive now, because they can actually take care of the child during the work hours. So random stops after work hours. So minsan play with the dog, Netflix, play with my that's my 1-year-old son there actually. And then actually play up until now the Ragnarok mobile. You guys actually know that. And just one one quote, this is actually it's like my my mindset since that quarter life crisis I encountered. So eto, if you're not scared, you're like not taking a chance, then what the hell are you doing? This was actually quoted by Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother. So kind of like that series. So that's it from me. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Trisha, for sharing your journey with us. I also love Ted Mosby and How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a Q&A right now. So I will be getting questions from YouTube, and Allison will get some questions for Zoom. So let's start with some questions from YouTube. Sony said Ted Mosby from Friends. Question. You learned Python 2 years after graduation and find your first job. What language did you use back then?
Like before Python,
Yes.
I actually had an experience with C++, pero that was during college. No, that was like one subject only. So I didn't feel like I really have really uh like a backbone in coding by that time.
Okay, so this is actually my personal question. A while ago, I saw your schedule and I was just curious kasi meron dun part na feed child, parang may specific time for feeding your child. So, paano nangyayari yun? Kasi di ba, I have a lot of mom friends and they usually say na parang hindi nila makontrol yung schedule nila kasi kapag nagutom yung baby nila, gutom yung baby nila, they have to feed.
Actually, he started that schedule since he turned 1. For some reason, he's always up by 6 a.m. and crying and saying that the word when he says the word it's like feed me, feed me. Okay. So I get it. So that's why every time he wakes up in the morning, me and my husband are actually switching for preparing who will be the one preparing for the for the food.
Okay, I guess that's really nice that your child actually has a schedule. may sinusunod siyang schedule himself. So I really like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a comment here saying that most likely the baby established a body clock. Yeah, I guess so.
Most likely, yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay. So the next question is, what's your advice in balancing your personal time, work, and parenting? Kasi, di ba, yeah, I get it. The work and also the life being a parent is a very
Actually
complex
hard.
one, di ba?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
It's actually very tiring, because ang hirap mag-extend ng time actually kapag sa office na tapos may gagawin ka pang duties after work hours, ganyan. So that's why sorry. That's why I actually when I was finding a job early in the first quarter of the year, that's what yun talaga hinahanap ko, yung pwede hindi ko kaya yung sorry, hindi ko talaga kaya yung parati ka na lang parang nano-normalize yung pag-extend sa office mo. Kasi it's actually good naman na to you know to extend para rin naman sa case ng work mo or to be exempted, ganyan. Pero kung i-balance mo kasi, kung iisipin mo na kung puro work ka na lang ba tapos wala ka na rin time yung sa baby mo, para kasing deep inside kasi nung nangyayari sa akin that time, nakakakonsensya. Kasi parang feeling mo pinapabayaan mo yung baby mo at some point. But you really can't make a choice. It's like baby or work na lang. Tapos ayoko naman dumating sa ganun. So I actually ginagawa ko at my best effort na to do my work na naka-time box lang siya as much as possible during work hours ko. So, as much as possible, no extension. Pero, syempre may exemptions yon at some point. Hindi naman natin maiiwasan yun, alam mo naman, as an IT. Pero, ayun. As in, time box lang talaga is the key.
Okay, so this is actually a question na a couple of our participants have been asking. So curious sila about dun sa salary range ng isang Python developer. May mga nagtatanong ng junior, meron naman parang Python or cloud developer lang in general. So can you give us kahit parang ikaw, kung ano yung comfortable ka na about dun sa salary ng isang cloud developer or Python developer?
Can I not? Sorry.
Sige, it's okay, it's okay. And I think actually when it comes naman dun sa salary range, a lot of the job postings usually hindi pala usual, but a couple of them reveal yung range, right? All right. So I actually have another question here. So is your career now what you envisioned when you were in college? So this is a question from Kay.
Actually, no. super layo. Because I actually like envision myself doing hardware, not software. So very opposite.
Okay, pero are you satisfied or are you happy with your current job na?
Yes, oo naman.
Nice, nice. So, let's get some question from YouTube naman ulit. So, is your workstation different from before and during work from home?
Actually, sa workstation sa office, if he's referring to, actually, oo, very. Kasi, um, yung work from home din kasi by last year, super biglaan. So, that was like the time na akala ko 1 month lang, yung lockdown, ganyan. Iniwan ko pa yung mga keyboard ko and stuff, yung mga cellphone holder na sa desktop doon, na nakuha ko na lang until I resigned but that time. Very, very, yeah, very different. Even yung environment.
Oo nga, ako rin dun sa previous work ko, hindi ko pinlace in a proper position, in a proper place yung cup ko. So, iniisip ko, kamusta na kaya yung cup na yun?
All right. So I have another question here. This one is from Faust. Looking at your schedule, it looks like work-life balance is good. One of the things that comes with the DevOps is the 24/7, 365 on-call role. So does that happen with your position in Dyson?
No. Walang call. Walang on call.
Okay, so I guess that really works well for you since you have baby to take care of.
Yes. So next question naman is, what is your first impression on Python with Django framework compared to your knowledge in C++?
Actually, nakakatawa kasi I remember dun sa classroom na first time ko na na-set up yung web, like nasa local host nga lang. Sabi ko, wow, ganito pala to. So parang ako lang yung nag-react, tapos feeling ko, alam mo yung mga sa ibang tao dun, parang feeling ko normal lang sa kanila yan. Pero wala first time eh. Actually, until now, na-appreciate ko yung pagiging sobrang readable ni Python kasi to be honest, nung college sa C++, nahirapan ako.
Oo nga
Okay.
medyo madami rin yung difference nila. Well,
Hmm.
nung nag-aaral din ako ng Django and also yung C++ before din ng college, grabe, magugulat ka na lang din eh.
Ayun. So speaking of college pala, may question tayo from Sean. May advice ka daw ba that you can give to aspiring Python devs, especially sa mga students?
Actually, sa dami ng language, hindi ko talaga, hindi ako namili na, ay, ito Python gusto ko, ay, ito Java gusto ko. Or other languages na, alam mo yun, na para ka namili ng college courses. So, I just really went to the flow with that time kasi nga inayang ako ng friend ko by that time. And then, nagustuhan ko. So, I think my advice is not like yung pilitin mo kung ano yung dahil dito okay sa ganitong company na basta parang hindi mo ipipilit kung anong gusto or trending ng itong mga tao. Kung ako, gawin mo na lang siguro kung ano yung nafe-feel mong gawin kasi which is I know doon ka mag-e-exempt.
I agree. Thank you. So, next question naman from Hanatan dito sa YouTube. Does a DevOps engineer still code?
Still code? Yes. Yes.
Ayun, dun to the extension na lang din dun sa question, no? Ano yung klase ng programs na ginagawa mo for the company? Is it super extensive to the point na super dami ng lines of code? May mga
Like,
algorithms ba? Or...
Hindi siya like super extensive like ng pag-code ng mga API dati as a backend. Much simpler actually kasi parang infrastructure yung kinocode mo eh. So yung mga automation ng ganyan, yung paulit-ulit na process na i-automate mo na lang. Mga stuff na ganun.
All right. So we have another question here sa Zoom. Anong framework naman daw yung gamit nyo sa Python? If you're using a particular framework.
Currently now, wala ng framework pero dati dun sa startup, Pyramid yung framework na gamit.
Oh, okay. And so may another question here. Where did you learn DevOps?
From the first company that actually gave me an opportunity to learn. That was by 2017 sa startup company.
And okay, so ito another question. For ECEs, like you pursuing a career in software or cloud, would you mind sharing po if the PRC license is relevant pa? Or focus instead na lang on other certifications?
License, actually, hindi siya nga tinatanong even during interviews. Mas may bearing yung certifications like yung sa mga cloud or most likely sa cloud talaga pag DevOps ka.
Oh, so hindi ka na nag-renew ng ano mo, ng certification?
Actually,
ng license?
hindi
okay.
Hindi ako nag-take actually.
I see. Tama ba yung, from my understanding, annual yung renewal nun, no?
Alam ko kasi may may kailangan ka mga points na makuha before ka ma-renew. So, like pagkuha mo ng mga master's degree, may iba pang mga stuff eh. Basta may kailangan ka ma-meet na points bago mo ma-renew yung license.
I see. Okay. And since yung work mo naman is DevOps related, it really does make more sense na mag-focus dun sa mga cloud-related certifications.
Yes.
Right.
Ayun, personal question ko na lang. Ano yung mga, kung gumagamit ka ba ng mga productivity tools para mas maging on track ka with your schedule, and kung ano yung ma-share mo or yung ma-share mo yung na tools sa ibang devs or DevOps. Yung mga, kung gusto mong mag-pursue ng DevOps, ano yung gusto mong i-recommend?
Wait. Yung mga training na ako na ginamit nun, I just can't remember exactly ano. Hindi ko maalala yung mga training mo sa ginamit. I'm sorry, pero during work, actually, yung mga advice ko is lagi to weigh in kung ano yung high priority and low priority sa mga task. Kasi baka mamaya inuuna mo yung low priority tapos ang laki ng time na mako-consume. So, not worth it na tapusin by that time. So, ayun. Yun lang lagi yung technique ko actually pag nag-work.
Okay. So may nag-mention lang dito si Rafi. Sabi niya pala, FYI, PRC recognizes AWS training sessions as points, just in case you need it.
I didn't know that. Obviously.
So, pala yun. Okay. So next we have a question from Ryan. Do you also use AWS code pipeline? How do you set up your environment and run test suites automatically?
Currently, hindi. Sa current company, hindi pa kasi Di ko sure hanggang saan extent ako pwede mag-share, pero we're still starting to migrate from on-prem to cloud. So we're like still planning things from now kasi may yun yung mga maapektuhan na services ganyan. Tapos yung mga current automation scripts na nandun din sa mga server. Tapos yung mga naka-host din para sa iba pa. Ayun. So currently no, hindi pa.
Okay.
So, next naman na question. What do you think is your advantage from transitioning from an API backend engineer to DevOps engineer?
Oh.
Siguro kasi while I was a backend engineer, yung responsibility, actually yung role, parang may nahaluan talaga ng DevOps kasi at that time, hindi lang pagko-code yung ginagawa ko by that time, as hindi lang pagko-code ng backend. So by that time, yung team rin namin yung nagde-deploy ng mga projects, kami rin yung mga nag-containerize ng mga stuff. Then, ayun, so parang hybrid, kumbaga. Yes.
Okay, so we have one here from Armando Yalung. Sabi niya, currently working daw siya sa telco. So I guess humihingi siya ng advice how to start a career as a DevOps engineer.
Study. Siguro research ka muna on your own. Baka kasi baka hindi mo mamaya trip or yung mga ginagawa or ganyan. Pero may naalala ko lang kasi may na-interview ako at the past na yung knowledge niya fit, pero yung knowledge niya all gained from the book. But wala pa siyang experience. Pero tinanggap namin siya kasi sa attitude niya na sobrang eager siya to learn, na feeling mo madali mong may steer yung bata. Na he's very eager to learn things, no? Na even though may mga ibang tao na set ng skills na alam na yung ganito. Attitude lang talaga.
Actually, I really appreciate this about sa tech community in general kasi at least based from my experience, tech companies really tend to let people learn. Alam mo yun, parang kahit na may mga tao na galing sa ibang field or fresh grad pa lang, as long as you're eager to learn and as long as willing ka na matutunan yung technology, companies will accept you. And I think ang gandang practice lang niya.
Totoo.
Ayan. So I guess we have time for 2 more questions. Do you have may questions pa ba, Ange, from YouTube?
Let's see. So meron pa. Last question na to from YouTube. Do you have any side projects or any projects that you want to do on your free time?
Actually, before I had, ang dami naming mga scratch ideas ng partner ko in that time na nag-start pa nga kami bumili ng account na may mga nabibil na maliliit. But, hindi lang talaga namin na manage na ayusin. Kasi, ayun, may mga surprises na dumating at some point.
Okay, so for our last question, actually we actually have a couple of other questions pa dito, pero since we're running out of time, this would be the last one from Chard. So continuous learning is a must for DevOps, especially with the pace of cloud services, tooling, and technologies that we have. How do you manage learning new tools and tech or studying new cloud services or certifications?
Actually, malaking bagay yung mga community. Like, before kasi, pag may free time ako, minsan nagbumuni-muni in the morning. Nag-google ako kung ano yung mga bago sa tech, tapos kung ano yung mga news sa ganito. Minsan, magugulat ka na lang na may nire-release sa AWS na bagong service, ganyan. Tapos yung pag-join mo rin minsan sa mga community pages, minsan nakakuha ka ng mga chismis, siguro sa some term na, uy, may ganito, tapos ganito gamitin, ganyan, yung tool ni AWS, may fun na ganito about sa machine learning, ganon and stuff. So, on your own din, on your own, tawag dito, on your own move na kung paano mo makaka-gain ng mga bagong information about the tech industry.
Nice. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. Do you have any announcement to say to the participants?
I don't think I have.
All right. So we actually have an announcement from Python Philippines for those who are looking for jobs. Since may mga nagtanong na din a while ago, check out the PythonPH job board at python.ph/jobs. This is our community job board. You can also post job ads here here for free as long as they're Python related. Ayan, so yung mga nagtatanong kanina about looking into having a Python related job, ayun, meron tayong job board for that.
And that's all we have for our interview with our first guest. Again, thank you so much, Trisha. Now we had a very we really enjoyed interviewing with you, and now we'll turn over to the floor to our friends from AWS Users Group PH.
All right. Thank you, Ange and Allison, for that first segment. So, by the way, good afternoon, guys. I'm JP from AWS User Group Philippines. Together with Kay, we will be your host for the second segment of this webinar.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, JP. I'm King Alvarado, also from AWS User Group Philippines. Before we start with our next speaker, we'd like to announce that we'll be giving away 2 Python SDK shirts from store.awsug.ph. So one for the person who will get the highest score on our quiz, which will happen near the end of our meetup, and one for the raffle winner. So to all those watching us live, please stay tuned for that.
All right. Thanks, Kay. And for our next segment, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Sir Josef Monje. So Sir Josef Monje is a engineer from Xoxzo, Japan, where he handles operations. He has been using Python for 6 years and AWS for 8 years. He's been working from home for 3 years and a working student from home until recently. He also graduated from Ateneo de Manila University with a Bachelor in Arts in Data Science, and in AIM, Asian Institute of Management, for his Master of Science in Data Science. And his hobbies include building Raspberry Pi gadgets and keeping up to date with the developments in crypto and AI space. So wow, napaka-interesting ng hobbies ni Sir Joseph. So again, let's welcome our next speaker, Sir Josef Monje. Sir Joseph?
Hi, JPK. Thank you. I'll share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Thank you. So First of all, so I'm Joseph. I didn't start out as an ECE, IT, or CS graduate. I graduated with a degree in psychology actually from college. And I've been interested in technology ever since. I read about startups, and even before I started coding, I've been using AWS, for example, for making. Even before I started coding professionally, I already used AWS to create websites and to store files. I currently work as an operations engineer at Xoxzo. It's an IT company in Japan. We have telecom APIs, and this is our last team outing, team get together in I think 2019, right before the COVID pandemic. This is in Japan. We're very family friendly, so the kid there is the child of someone from the team, so we're not making her work. Okay, so this is most of the team. We have two more that's not in the photo and one that's no longer with the team from this photo. So I tried Googling when was the first time I got billed by AWS. So I was surprised that it was in fact in 2011. So you get billed 1 year after you use AWS. So I've been using it since 2010. And then I tried searching for my first Python repo, but I seem to have deleted most of my repos at some point in GitHub. So the first one I found was this. If you remember Chica, the SMS API that was available a long time ago. And then, so in terms of work hours, as an operations engineer, we have a core time in our company. The box time slot here is our core time where we share common time slot among members among our team. So it's 1 to 4 p.m. So usually I make myself available during this time, and I'm online in Slack, and of course work happens. I take this time to, since we're a fully remote company, we chat a lot. So whenever I need something from someone or whenever someone needs something from me, I make sure I reply immediately. And so I try not to wait or to make them wait during this time, especially. So if you see on Monday, we have a meeting. So the upper left box here is when I prepare for that meeting. And then it's an all hands meeting. We do it weekly. So that time is reserved for preparing for that meeting. And then after, the longer box is when I try to do some actual work related to the plans for the week, those shared during the meeting. And then the box on the upper right is Friday morning. That's when I try to wrap up my week and update documents, update tasks. So when do I work? So this time in the morning and the afternoon is when this outside of the core time, I focus on my own tasks. But in actuality, as an operations engineer, it's closer to SRE. I make sure that our services are up and our customers are able to use our services reliably. So it's almost like this. It can happen anytime. So earlier, someone asked about being on call. I consider myself always on call. As for my work from home setup, so I've been working from home for a while now. Unlike others, I don't have a permanent setup but I do have a desk that I usually use. For me, my work from home setup consists of my old laptop, and I have this tablet where I usually have a dashboard on. And then I have this table that you can usually use to to lie down in bed and type. I use it on the desk, so I can also stand up. And then there's a phone stand on the left side. And then the picture on the right side, you can see some black items. The black cube there is where I train neural networks. It's an NVIDIA Jetson AGX with 500 GPUs, and the rectangular box is a Raspberry Pi, which has a game hat. So it's my game console, and the mat is not a fancy desk mat. It's just my sarong. And then I have another work area. Usually the previous area, the desk area, is usually dark. I am so the usual coder in the dark room environment. That's my place. This one is my bedroom. I have another desk that I use for, well, I can also use it when I'm lying down, and I also have this bedside tripod, so I can change the attachment to also use the laptop, but I mostly use it for my tablet, and then the other desk is for the laptop. This room, as opposed to the other one, has a very large window, so if I want a bright environment, I go to this desk. Ayan. So I usually handle automation stuff. Aside from SRE stuff and all of the small, I also consider part of my work all the small things that other people request as part of operations. If you're familiar with this icon, it's the icon of a Python package called erbot. So it's a package that lets you integrate with a lot of chat services. So you can create modules in erbot that let you integrate chat with commands. So you can chat with the bot and then it will do the work. So as much as possible, I try to automate most of my work. So I'm the number one chatter of the bot software in our Slack. And then this icon here is the icon of Airflow. So nowadays, a lot of data products have emerged, and there are, for companies that have ML in their software, or they require a lot of ML ops, data ops. Airflow is a workflow orchestration manager that is quite popular. There's also an AWS service that was released recently that allows you to use Airflow in AWS. So maybe you can also look into that. So it also has an API. You can enable it. So what I'm doing now is I'm transitioning the workflows from erbot modules into Airflow DAGs. So now the chatbot, I chat with it, and then it will just call the Airflow API and do some work. So yeah. So I'm also a data scientist, just recently graduated from my program. And since I can't share work stuff, and a lot of data is not really, the data I've worked with is not really something I can share. I can share some of my personal projects. For example, this one is for data engineering. This is a trading card application with which showcases some services in AWS that you can use as a data lake, NoSQL database, transactional database, and data warehouse. And then we created small applications that use all of those and Airflow DAGs that combine them. For NLP, this is a typical LDA. And then for clustering, we used Airbnb data to get clusters of Airbnb spots in Manhattan. And then the highlight here is the EDA, but it's too long to explain. But it has a nice visualization, just like this one. So this one is for big data. We used around 30 gigabytes of Facebook data, Facebook population data, and visualized it. This one is South Korea, the population of different segments of the population in South Korea. And then, so recently, GitHub and OpenAI, they've had a lot of projects related to code, like Codex and GitHub's visualization of repository. So I trained code auto-completion model using GPT-2. So this one is from a Jupyter notebook. I created a small autocomplete function and then got the autocomplete suggestions using the model. So it writes real Python code. And then, but sometimes it makes mistakes, like it tried importing network X from pandas, which does not make sense. And then next is, so this is for network science. I used network science to analyze GitHub repositories. So on the left side, you can see the data stored by repositories or Git repositories. It's composed of commits, trees, and blob nodes, and the links are the sequence, the activity. And then in the middle, you see the authors of the commits. And then on the right side, the clusters according to the community detection algorithm. So it can detect phases of the code, or how modular different phases of the development is. And then next, using centrality measures, you can see the important files in the repository given the degree centrality, and using the betweenness centrality, you can see the important commits, or if you can recall the community, the yellow community of the visualization on the right, it's the highlighted community in the betweenness centrality visualization. So you can say this part of the project was important because there were a lot of connections with the rest of the project. So career stuff. So I graduated with a degree in psychology. So how did I get into tech? It's a passion. I like tech, and then I liked it so much I wanted to code. So so coming from HR, I decided to resign and studied in UPITDC for a year. And then so from then on, I got a tech job. So I was a developer. And then so now I'm also doing data science after graduating from my master's degree. So maybe what I can say is there's a lot of people who want to shift careers. So I can attest to that being something that's very doable given the choices I've made in my career and what I've reached so far. But you have to love your work. So for me, I don't think there's a problem with work-life balance if you feel like what you do is, or what you do at work is also your life. So that's all. So maybe you can ask questions if there are other details that you want to know more. Feel free to connect with me on Twitter using my Twitter handle, and you can also feel free to search me on LinkedIn if you want career advice or just chat. That's it for my presentation. JPK, I'm open for questions.
Wow. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, that was a very interesting presentation. We will proceed now with our Q&A. So, ito personal question ko. Kasi when you were introduced, it was said na yung undergrad degree mo is psychology. So, how did you end up in a tech career?
So first, I had to study, but before studying, actually, I already knew how to code a bit. As a gamer, as a young gamer, I automated stuff on my laptop to have an edge against, for example, your Dota or CS enemies. So I used AutoHotkey to automate keystrokes, and then I created websites for my friends and myself. So I learned JavaScript along the way. And then I tried putting it online. That's why I had an AWS account early on. So I already knew a bit. And then I decided pursuing HR is a mistake because it's not what I want to do. So I studied, and then I never looked back. From then on, it's all IT. I probably could have applied earlier, but it would have been difficult because I didn't have, let's say, credentials. But now with, for example, AWS certifications, you may be able to do that without formally enrolling in a program like what I did. Did I answer your question?
Right. Sir Joseph, thank you for that answer. Napaka-interesting ng story mo about career shift. Like, actually, I have some few friends that is doing same path of yours, that doing a career shift to a like technical direction. So also, I have a personal question in relation to question of Kay. So what are the skills you've got in a degree in psychology that you find useful in your current role in operations?
Maybe it's an unrelated discipline. Maybe, I don't know. Operations it's more of maybe because I have to deal with people from other business units. That's why that kind of background may help. But the track I pursued after graduating from that degree is still it's more of an analyst role. So it's not the admin role where I had to implement policies or talk to employees with grievances. So it's more of an analyst background in HR and then a manager. So my current ops role is closer to SRE than let's say DevOps. But I still code because if there are problems, I fix them. And if there are things that I think will become problems, it becomes it's my initiative, and then it's still coding work.
Yun. So, I think marami talagang na-inspire dun sa story mo, Sir Joseph. So, yan. From Thea Luterio from Zoom, you have an inspiring story po. Can you share your mindset in terms of taking risks and learning or upgrading your skills?
For me, no one else will care about your your skills except yourself. Even your company, it might not be their priority to upskill you or the employee. So if you won't care about upgrading your own skills, then no one else will. So you have to love what you do. So even if you spend a lot of time working or learning about your work, it won't feel tiring, and it's always a satisfaction to learn something you can immediately apply. Maybe that.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Joseph. So I totally get where you're coming from. Like, if you enjoy what you are doing, you never felt tired talaga sa sa mga task, lalo na if your passion is what you do. And I believe we have a question here in YouTube from Mr. Valdez. So, since your team is from different countries, how do you handle time zone differences?
So in our company, we have a core time, and in this core time, we make sure we're available. So from Japan to, let's say, India and Russia, it's still within working hours in those hours. So, but once you get to know your coworkers, you can chat with them even in the middle of the night, because you know you're close and they won't get mad.
I think yun talaga yung expectation for ops engineers, no? Yun. So sir, from San, do international companies also hire fresh grads or junior devs for remote work?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think it will be a problem if you have a skill set that you can prove. For example, you have a portfolio that you can share. They won't hire you right out of graduation if you don't have anything to show. That goes for anyone or in any field, even if it's not remote, or even if it's not international.
All right. We have also here like a question in YouTube, but I believe na-answer mo na, Sir Joseph, that if you were a gamer, since you saw console in your previous pictures. But another question is, Sir Joseph, how do you handle the big data? I think you said gigabytes of data. Isn't that so?
So there are a lot of techniques to handle data sets that are larger than memory. For example, using frameworks like Dask and using parallelization, and using, for example, services like EMR or Spark. So if you want to do big data, familiarity with those kinds of techniques or services and frameworks would be very helpful.
Okay. Ako, may isa rin akong personal question ulit na kanina pa nagbabother sa mind ko. Yung, kasi na-mention mo rin, sir, na since 2010, you're already using AWS. So I'm curious, ano yung mga services na ginagamit mo back then? Parang how different is AWS back then to how it is now? How you're using it now?
Well, the service that I can say would be a good introductory trial for anyone is S3. So you can use it for a lot of things as long as it's storing files. So I use it as a backup for so I don't have to store it in my computer. And then if you want to learn more about infrastructure, then EC2 would be a good foundation. Back then, there was no VPC yet, so you had to be familiar with security groups as well. And then eventually, you might have multiple instances and load balancers. That's all under EC2. And then databases, if that's your thing. And then nowadays, so everything has to be in VPC. It's been out a long while already. But nowadays, you can start using serverless right out of the bat if you feel confident. But I think a good foundation would be to be familiar with the traditional tech, and then using that to get to know more of the modern tech. Same goes with programming. Knowing the basics is what I usually tell people, because you will bring it with you in whatever specialization you take, whether it's web dev or data science or hardware, or I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Thanks, Sir Joseph. I totally agree about what you said earlier, that getting the core concepts or maybe the fundamentals, you can build, understanding those, maybe you can build anything in any programming language or cloud. But I totally can't imagine there's no VPC like before, because I started AWS. There's already a VPC on it. And maybe for the next question, a personal question from my end, since I'm curious of what you've shared earlier, like having a core time. So I'm just curious, what are the activities or like the conversation topics, or what are you doing with your team during your core time? Yeah.
There's no set topic or activity. Usually people set meetings during this time if it involves a lot of people, and if you want immediate response, since it's expected that people will be online during this time, then try to get what you need from your teammates. That's it, I think. There's nothing specific. It's anything. If I can work during those hours, I do that work, so I can, for example, get my PR reviewed immediately, something like that. Or if there's a piece of code that I don't understand, then I can ask someone and get a reply immediately.
I think we have time for 2 more questions. So another question from Zoom. How did AIM's MS Data Science help you with your career? Would you recommend it to those who want to pursue a data science career?
I can say it's very helpful. I learned a lot during the program. In terms of whether I would recommend it, I can tell you privately.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we have another one here from YouTube, from Mr. Valdez. Do you do online activities outside work with your remote team?
Maybe outside of work, I can say we have a Friday activity once a month where we share something that we recently read. So everyone in the company also does that. So, but it doesn't need to be work related. And then in terms of other activities outside of work with my coworkers, I guess the team camp, but it doesn't happen right now because of the pandemic. We have it at least once a year, so maybe 2 times a year at most. Sometimes it's just with engineering team. We had that also, but it's difficult because we're from different countries, so we have to. So we can say we've been very prepared for the current situation even before the pandemic because of how we are in our company.
All right. I guess we have more questions here and Zoom and YouTube, but maybe Sir Joseph can or the team can answer that on chat since being conscious of the time. And Sir Joseph, do you have any announcement or anything to say to the participants?
I don't have any announcements. I want to thank PythonPH and AWSUGPH for arranging this. That the communities are very helpful, and I encourage everyone to become part of the community because the community has been a very big part of my personal development. What else? Feel free to contact me in Twitter or LinkedIn. And I want to thank Miss Engineer and Data Scientist Joanna Quinto for my slides. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. With that, we'll be passing it now to Chard for AWS announcements. Go ahead, Chard.
Who was George Washington? The first president of the United States.
Yes.
Washington led the American
Hello.
independence from Britain.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Let me share my screen. Yep, mandaming tanong. Nag-enjoy ba kayo? Did you enjoy the session? Okay, let me open it. Share it. There. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Hello. Good evening, everyone. So, again, this is a really great session brought to you by PythonPH and AWS User Group Philippines. So, in behalf of the AWS User Group Philippines, we would like to just acknowledge those who passed their AWS certifications recently. So, for the past month, for AWS certified cloud practitioner, we have Geno Carlo. If you're here, we would like to acknowledge you. We also have Dante Saberon, Len CS, Asher Manangan, and JR De Guzman. Yan. So congratulations to the recently people who recently passed the AWS certified cloud practitioner. There's a number of them. And also we have Rolly Miniano. Yeah, I would like to acknowledge you and congratulate you for passing. He just passed yesterday for passing the AWS certified data analytics specialty. And for professional level, we have Abrian Manalansang for AWS certified DevOps Engineer professional. And for security specialty, we have Atlantis CB. So if you are here, we would like to congratulate you. And if you know them, we'd like to just let them know that we acknowledge them in this session. And of course, we are in need of AWS speakers and volunteers. So if you are willing, as mentioned by Sir Joseph, the community is really a big part of your career development. So please reach out to us, reach out to me, to Kay, to Sir Rafi. We will be hosting the games later, to JP, yan, or reach out sa AWS User Group Philippines Facebook group. So if you're interested to join or just share anything about AWS, and of course, we would like to encourage the women in tech to join the AWS User Group PH Builders Plus. So this is a group specifically for those ladies who are passionate in AWS Cloud. So yeah, if you're interested to join, just reach out to us. So we lang po for AWS User Group Philippines announcement. So may I call on Sir Rafi. So Rafael Francis Kisumbing for the game proper.
All right, hello everyone. Excited to be here, and presently you should be seeing my slides with a QR code. So as mentioned earlier, we will be for awarding our top one and also a random person, right, that joins the game with a Python SDK t-shirt. Okay, so again, the game is now open. Please do. You can use your mobile phone. You can use your phone. You can use your desktop. Please do visit this URL. I've also chatted it in the Zoom chat for those who are in Zoom. And for those who are in YouTube, I'll also just quickly chat it as well. Okay, I cannot see the chat anymore. So, in the YouTube. All right, so we currently have 59, oh no, yeah, 24 participants at the moment. And okay, so let us continue then. Let me hide the QR. Oh no, you're able to see. That's okay. Okay, so we're about to start already. I'm gonna hide the QR code. Again, it's best that you are looking live on your phone so that you're not waiting for the screen. Okay. So now, for those who want to win the prize, we will now open the email address so that we know how to contact you after. Okay, so again, please type in your email address so that if you are one of the winners, we're able to contact you with your prize. Right, so you have still a few more minutes or seconds. Okay, again, please do leave us your emails so that we can give it to you. All right, so let's begin. You should have already placed your email addresses. So please put in your name so that we can start the game. So again, put your nickname so that we know, or we can track the leaderboard over time. And we are doing a set of questions, true or false, both from Python and AWS. All right, so again, it's all true and false. So either you know it or you're quite lucky in getting the answers. All right, so we have now 23 players. Just waiting for a couple of more because we're expecting 29 players to join. All right, I think we can begin with 25 players. I believe everyone should have already placed their name by this time. So let us now begin the quiz. Right, so for our question, true or false, EC2 virtual machine supports only Linux and Windows operating system. Is that true or false? Okay, is that true or false? Does EC2, the virtual machine, only support Linux and Windows? And the correct answer here is false. Mac OS is now supported. So if you are developing for Mac, you need a Mac server, you can actually use EC2 already. Okay, so there a lot of you got that correct question correctly. Okay, we'll move on next. Let's look at our leaderboard. Again, faster means more points, and we have K as our number 1, followed by Ruel and then Ian. Okay, question number 3. Okay. In 2020 Stack Overflow developer survey, Python was placed number 1 for most loved programming language. Is that true or false? Okay, is it the most loved programming language? Okay, let's look at our fans of Python. Right, so a lot of people answered true, but the correct answer is false. So Python is the most wanted, okay, most wanted programming language. So it's not the most loved, it's the most wanted. Apparently may pagkakaiba ang love versus want. Okay, so medyo tricky lang dun sa part na yon, but okay, yeah, 3 people got it correctly. And tingnan natin yung leaderboard natin, si Dark Princess, naging number 1 bigla. Okay, congrats Dark Princess. Question number 4. Okay, out of 11. Okay, S3 being unlimited cloud storage, you can upload a 100 terabyte file into it. Okay, can you upload a 100 terabyte file into it? Is that true or false? Laki ng 100 terabytes. Ano kayang klaseng file yun? And the answer there is false. No? So it's false because while S3 can be virtually unlimited, it is basically a maximum of 5 terabyte. Okay, 5 terabyte per file. Okay, so you have to split that file into 5 terabytes. Right. So our leaderboard has changed. Okay, si K is going back to the top 1. No? And yung may comment tayo dito, apparently another language has been most loved, apparently daw, sabi. But let's double check that later on. Our next question, question number 5. Okay, in Python console, typing import this will show you the Zen of Python. Is that true or false? Okay, and again, if you're not a Python developer, hula ka na lang. Is it true or false? No? Ano kaya tong Zen of Python? Right? Is that true or is that false? Right, so the correct answer is true. Right, so you'll get that information if you type import this. Okay, next. So we still have K as our number 1, and I think Jasper and Dark Princess move up a bit as well. Right, Strange Ian, yes, 50-50, tama. Pero of course, if you know the answer, it's no longer 50-50. It's now 100% if you know the answer. Right. So no score. Generally, we would want to ask everyone what topic you would like to discuss in the future. No? So in the future, for all the user group meetups, what kind of topic, Right, thank you. We have a lot of people here answering mental health, best practices, more machine learning, NLP, Django and Flask, security, data science and ML. Right, so we have a couple, no? Cybersecurity, best practices, career path for fresh graduates and engineer. Oh, sorry, ang dami. Right. Sorry na, pindot ko. Pero yes, let's move on to question number 6. For RDS, Managed Database Service allows you to have automated patch and backup. Okay, so again, for RDS, does the Managed Database Service allow you to have automated patch and backup? Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, answer is true. Yes, so basically with RDS being a managed service, you can have your database be automatically patched and backed up, right? So your versioning of your DB can be the latest version easily in this sense. All right, next question. Okay, we have K on top, Dark Princess, and Jasper top. All right, kaya tong ihabol to everyone, no? In the rest of the numbers, kayang-kaya to ihabol. Because we still have a lot of questions left. Question number 7. Okay, in practice, we read code more than we write them. This has been embraced so deeply in Python that an official style guide has been made. Is this true or false? No? Do we really read more than we write? And has Python have an official style guide? Right? So the answer here is true. The official style guide is called PEP 8, right? PEP 8. So that's the official style guide. All right, next question. Oh, si Francis had a sad face, hindi niya nakuha. No? But again, we still have others who were able to successfully get it. Question number 8. Again, faster, more points. No? AWS was mainly founded by Jeff Bezos, the spaceman. Yung currently the astronaut, right? They want to go to Mars as well. Was AWS mainly founded by Jeff Bezos? Okay. True or false? 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Right, so the answer here is false. No? So Jeff Bezos was Amazon CEO, but actually it's Andy Jass, who is now taking over Amazon.com, is the one credited as the main founder of AWS or Amazon Web Services. All right, so question number 9. Okay, functions are first-class citizens in Python. This means you can pass them as arguments to other functions. Right? Is that true or false? Are functions first-class citizen? Right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Medyo nasasad si Ian and yung iba, no? So the answer here is true, right? So again, you can easily pass arguments to other functions or return them as value from other functions because it's a first-class citizen. Okay, let's check the leaderboard after 2 questions. Now, si Dark Princess, whoever you are, I hope naglagay ka ng email kanina because you're now leading in top 1. Followed by Jasper. Ian. Oh, Ian, top ka pala. Ba't ka nagsasad face, no? Then Mel, and AMT. Right. Next. Poker face pala. Okay. True or false? AWS launched SQS, the queuing service, as its first service, no, not EC2. So did SQS come before EC2? Was it really the first service offered by AWS? Right. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer here is true. So virtual machines was not the one that was first offered. I believe they offered a queuing service first. No? Very unique at 2006. So mas na 4 years after na nakapasok si Sir Monje. But at that time, 2006, SQS muna. Right? Very unique in that sense. Anong gagawin mo dun sa SQS at the time? No? But yeah, that's the first one. Right. So a couple of surveys lang for us. Did this meetup help you with new learnings or knowledge? Did you learn something new here? Did you enjoy? Were you inspired? Okay, so thank you again for everyone, for the 90% so far who have shared that they really enjoyed or they learned something new with these meetup. Okay, I think everyone already answered, so let's not wait for the time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Right, so for our leaderboard, Dark Princess, Jasper, and Ian are still leading. Dark Princess, I hope you win. Okay, again, another survey, of course not scored, is overall, how was the time of the event, platform, and of course, also the YouTube, right? Presentation format for you. Was it very good, fair, no comment? Right. Okay, thank you for that feedback. And yeah, again, if you have any suggestions for us as organizers, please do give us direct feedback as well. We are more than happy to entertain your feedback. Right, so last question. This is it. Pahabol. Okay, the Zen of Python states that if the implementation is hard to explain, it's a complex solution. Right? That's the Zen of Python. Remember how to get the Zen of Python? Which command? Okay. Maybe you want to try it now, no? Mabilisan. You still have 10 seconds remaining. Does it say if the implementation is hard to explain, it's a complex solution? Okay. Medyo very tricky tayo sa mga words, no? Is it true, false? Right. So the answer here is false. So the actual state is if the implementation is hard to explain, it's a bad idea. Okay, so it's not even a complex solution. It's a bad idea. Sabi nga ni Sir Wiji sa atin dati before, masyadong komplikado yun, mali yun. It's a bad idea. All right, so let's just quickly look at our score and our congratulations to, ito na nga, si Dark Princess yung panalo. Right? So again, I hope Dark Princess, you put your email. If hindi naglagay ng email si Dark Princess or we have no way to contact Dark Princess, we will award it to the next person, and so on and so forth. But don't worry, if you are not the top one, let me just prepare our wheel of names so that we can get one more winner randomly from the game. Okay, so again, let me just get a person to join our wheel of names. Right. Congratulations again kay Dark Princess, no? Na-scam daw. Oo, mukhang madaming gusto sana manalo, pero in the end, ikaw yung panalo. Ay, prince pala daw, hindi princess. Right. Okay lang 'yon. Ngayon meron tayong minsan lalagay tayo ng ating pronouns, no? Para maging more inclusive tayo, tulad ng AWS Build Hers Plus. Kaya tayo may plus din para maging inclusive, no? Safe space for everyone. So now, ang i-share ko dapat ay ating wheel of names. Saglit lang. Para makita natin kung sino dapat ang ating i-award sa wheel of names. Right. So, i-resume ko na yung screen ko and you should be seeing our wheel of names. Right. So again, if hindi kayo naglagay ng email, perhaps pwede nyo i-chat sa amin or reach out to me na lang. No? I'm very active in Facebook naman, in LinkedIn, and other social media so that you can, claim your prize. Okay? So again, can I get confirmed lang from the other MCs na they're seeing the wheel of names?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So ito again, we only have one. Unfortunately, one winner lang din dito. Tanggalin na po na si Dark Princess, no? Iwan lang natin muna, pero of course, Dark Princess, di ka na counted. No? All right. So let us click and see who our winner is. Ang bagal ng umikot ba 'yon? Right. So si Mel ang ating winner for the raffle of our Python AWS SDK t-shirt. No? Pero just in case si Mel ay walang email or hindi namin makontak, no? Just in case lang, mag-draw lang tayo ng isa pa. Just in case. Again, Mel, nandito ka ba? And si Dark Princess, please do, shout out or maglagay kayo. And yung isa ay si unknown user. Kung sino man naglagay ng unknown user doon kanina, kayo ang potential runner-up. Alright. Okay. So that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. And I now return it back to our MCs, or 4 MCs, for any last statements. Right. MCs? Ayun. Bumalik na yung ating mga MCs. Thank you.
Thank you, Raf, for that wonderful game. And thank you everyone for spending time with us. Hope nag-enjoy kayo sa pag-game ni Sir Rafi and sa mga prizes. Which is, I think, very cool yan yung mga goodies from AWS store. And we hope you've learned something new from our wonderful and talented speakers. And I'd like to say that this webinar was made possible through the joint efforts of the core volunteers of PythonPH and AWSUGPH. So basically, ito yung joint meetup. And we're looking forward to seeing you at our future events. And again, good day and happy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Weekend. Thank